we've got Aaron Gibbs with us, Tim Anderson with us, great market reads. And guys, and maybe Aaron, I'll begin with you. I want to show the Dow because a lot of folks at home are probably thinking, all right, this AI play, shooting for the stars, soaring, the Dow tumbling. Aaron, what happened?
So the big thing with Nvidia, we have to remember that it is a semiconductor, which, we're not going to go out and buy those chips ourselves, right? We're probably going to leave that to the Googles and the Microsofts. The problem is what's happening is that those companies, those customers that we just mentioned, they're having a real time making profits out of AI. They're still figuring out the software. They're figuring out how to make things more profitable, how to make it more intelligent and usable for companies and end users like us. So while Nvidia is able to make these chips and sell them like crazy, like hotcakes, it's difficult for other companies to really see profits. And that's what we're seeing in the Dow, is all those other companies actually pulling back and say, hey, we're not going to be profitable on AI just yet.
Yeah, and a lot of them like Intel and Disney and McDonald's and, Boeing, even, not that AI was part of the story, there's this notion that things might not be easy in an inflationary environment that's easing a little bit.
We believe that too.
Exactly. So Tim Anderson, let me ask you a little bit about the AI phenomenon here. A lot of people like to harken back to the days of the internet boom. Are we getting ahead of our skis? I always like to posit to people, having lived through that as well, that a lot of those companies weren't making money. A lot of these companies, certainly when it comes to Nvidia and Microsoft and Meta, all these other players, they are. And that's the distinction. So those thinking, all right, we're due for another boom that turns into a bust. What do you think of that?
Well, there are some similarities to the internet revolution that happened started in the mid-90s. We don't really know where the whole AI revolution is going. But one of the big differences with what's going on right now with Nvidia and what's going on with, let's say, Qualcomm, was the hottest stock on the planet in the very late 90s. A lot of Qualcomm's customers ended up going out of business and not being able to pay for the products that they had on order. Whereas a lot of Nvidia's biggest customers, like the three that Susan mentioned in her lead-up piece, and many others, are paying for this product up front before it's even produced or shipped to them.
Interesting.
Because those companies are awash in cash. And when they call up Nvidia and say they want to buy 500 of their latest and greatest chips, and Nvidia says, okay, well, send us a check for $20 million, they send the check.
They want to be ahead of each other. Yeah, it's a good point.
That's a big difference from companies that were like buying things on 90 days as good as credit and then not being able to pay the bill.
Aaron, the backdrop of this, everyone pays attention to the Federal Reserve. We got some more data today that indicated some underlying strength, which would normally be good news. But I guess it's pushed back this notion we're going to see rates cut anytime soon. It depends on the day, I know. But where are you on this and what the Fed does?
I think that we are going to have some trouble with getting cuts this year. I think I look at some of the commodity prices, energy prices, which I know the Fed likes to say they exclude, but energy affects everybody's prices. And I think we're seeing a big run up in natural gas that really affects your electric bill and your heating bills. And I think that...
And you mentioned items that the American people see, and that's the tug of war between the numbers that show improvement and the American people who don't buy it.
And natural gas has basically doubled in the past month, and I think people are going to see higher utility bills that is going to affect the consumer. So I think that expecting rate cuts from the inflation side, I don't think we're out of the water yet. But again, as you said, it depends on the day.
It depends on the day. It does. So